another episode of Get a Load of This from the Silver Creek Studios. I am Jared.
And I am Ryan.
And it is season 3.
Season 3. That's
It's
right.
been
just
a long
like,
time.
Just like Stranger Things. We're trying to keep track, keep pace with them.
I was going to get a neon sign, but
yeah.
I ran out of time. We only had months to prepare.
Yeah. No, it's been a long break, and we're glad to be back.
Yep.
And you may notice that we're light a person.
We're going to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, don't fret. There will be a third entity in the room at some point.
Yeah.
We're going to open it up a little bit, and we're going to have more guests, including Joe, on occasion. But we're just going to kind of bring it back to, if for anybody that's listened to the first episodes, how we started. It was
Get
Jared
back to
and I,
our roots.
and Joe was the longest serving guest of any podcast. But no, he's welcome to come back anytime, and we'd love to have him.
Joe.
And I'm sure it'll happen eventually, because we're just not quite that funny. We try and fail miserably most of the time, but we're going to do our best to keep it entertaining and informational and confrontational. And how many other ationals can I come up with here? I don't know. Motivational?
Exploitational?
Yeah, something like that. So, but we're going to talk about, I think, season 3, we're going to throw down. I mean, we're not fucking around anymore. We're going to talk about all the things that we've kind of tiptoed around in the past.
I don't want to say necessarily that we're going to be more serious, but I think we will. There will be more deeper topics, probably a deeper dive into a topic. We'll do a little research, which we kind of got away from.
Right. With that said, we've done no research.
Right. We're completely unprepared for this episode.
Tonight is kind of the pilot.
We only had weeks, if not months, to get ready for this night. But
we talked about it a little bit, but we didn't do any actual work.
Right.
But no, I think
But you mentioned that we're going to have guests on, so I think we'll probably have one guest, and we will dive into a topic with that guest. Now, we're not going to say that it won't go off the rails and who knows what we're going to talk about, but we'll usually have a target of talking about something.
I'll throw this out there, that anybody that knows us well enough and is close enough that they can make it here, if you want to be a guest, you choose the topic. You're welcome. You're welcome to come on. We'll pick a date that works for you.
We'll even Skype you in if you want.
That's right. If you're not close enough to make it, we have the technology to use Skype and bring you into the conversation. But and it doesn't have to be controversial. It doesn't have to be political or religious or sexual talk. But
it could be all of that.
It could be all those
Definitely.
things. We don't know. I don't care. My wife makes fun of me. I think you've made fun of me. Maybe not made fun of me, but have made comment before that. What can't you talk about?
Right. Yeah.
And I do talk a lot. So, but I challenge people to come up with throw me a topic. My wife, whenever we had this conversation, she said Spice Girls, and I was like, oh shit. All right. Well,
can you name them first?
No, but I said, who's the one that's married to David
Mel
Beckham? Posh Spice? I think it's Posh.
Oh, maybe.
Victoria Beckham is her name.
Right.
I don't know which Spice Girl she
Vicky,
was.
I call her. I mean,
but I think how I went, I was like, yeah, she's hot, and I said, David Beckham, he's a extremely attractive man. I can understand why he could have any woman in the world. I was like, I wonder how long and I just went. I see what just happened right now.
Right.
Is that she said a topic. I said, I wonder how long will they be together? How long will their relationship last? He's a handsome man. She's a beautiful woman now, but he's a superstar soccer player that could, be a little bit unfaithful.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want.
Oh, please don't.
There was one of them was kind of less than the others.
Oh, I don't think so. I think they were all pretty top tier. I wouldn't kick any of them out of bed.
Well, I mean,
Now the Dixie Chicks, there was one that stood above the rest. The fiddle player, I think, was the best one out of the Dixie Chicks. But they were all they're all okay.
Were you a fan of the Dixie Chicks back in the day?
Still am.
Still are, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy their music a great deal.
Even with their politicization.
Well, that is a problem.
That's the word of the day, apparently.
I've gotten past some of it. I mean, if if I was upset by every celebrity's political stance, I could be a fan of no one. I love Jimmy Buffett. I know where he stands politically, and it's not in the same camp that I do. Most actors, most actors are Democrats, and a lot of them are raging liberals.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to watch any movies.
But I think there's a difference between...
I love Al Pacino. I love Robert De Niro. Sure. They're very vocal about where they stand on things. There's a difference
between, okay, they're Democrats, they're left-leaning, whatever, and like clearly standing on a podium, putting your message out there, trying to bitch and moan about the other side,
right.
Where, you know, like I would say the Dixie Chicks do.
Yeah.
So
they did.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a little different. It's not like, I mean, I happen to know that, you know, Tom Hanks is a Democrat, left-leaning guy, but you wouldn't know.
Cool, you know?
Right.
They're way
like
ahead of their time.
OG bashers.
Right. Apologizing for your president before it was,
But anyway, So what were we going to talk about? We kind of had a semi-plan.
Yeah, well, I think it started, I don't even know what kicked it into my brain, but...
you were bitching about something.
Well, that everybody's a fucking expert.
I got about 18 texts in a row from Ryan.
I had a little bit of a...
Yeah.
I may have been drinking.
Rant.
I don't know.
I can see that.
But I had a lot of bottled up aggression.
Okay.
And
and you didn't have this outlet. It's been a long time.
It's right. So I am on the social media stuff and on Facebook and Twitter and so somebody, I don't know who, but had posted something, I believe it was on Facebook, that said something just so, you know, grandiose and bombastic, and like they're laying their opinion out there as though it is the gospel, and it's like, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. What? And all they did was they Wikipedia'd some shit and said like, well, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't care if this is true or not. I'm not going to do any further research. I'm going to post this for the world to see and put it out there that I am more intelligent than the rest of my friends on Facebook.
Yeah,
and it spurred me off to think that the internet's a horrible thing. The internet creates. And we're just as guilty at this. It creates, everybody's a meteorologist. Everybody's an author. Everybody's a musician. Everybody's a broadcaster, a la us. Everybody's, what else did I have? A doctor, economist, political scientist. Yeah. Everybody thinks they're an expert in everything because they can read a Wikipedia page, or they can read a blog post, or they can go find something that affirms their already preconceived opinions, and they couldn't be further from the truth. And the internet is a horrible thing because it's given everybody this gross amount of knowledge, which is that you think that'd be a great thing. But the problem is that people don't dig deeper. And they take that first layer off and they're like, okay, I know enough. Now I'm a genius. Listen to me, educate you, motherfucker. And that's a problem.
Right.
So it's bad news.
But the flip side of that is, I don't have to wait for the 6 o'clock news to know if it's going to rain tomorrow.
Well, there's definitely pros.
I can look up. I can not only see a forecast, I can, like you said, be my own meteorologist and check the pressure and the temperature and blah, 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 and go, I'm pretty sure it's going to do this tomorrow.
Well, yeah, it's showing us all how easy it is.
If I have a metallic taste in my mouth, I know that something might not be right. I might be having a stroke here in a minute.
Yeah. You know,
WebMD.
You do now?
I am about to have a stroke.
Right.
No, I about had one the other day when I mowed the lawn, but
no, that's bad news, man.
It is bad news. But the internet is great. What are you complaining about?
It's great.
What?
It's great in a lot of ways.
It gets
Unfortunately,
abused,
there are a lot. But everything's great except for stupid people. Automobiles are great.
It's the stupidity of people.
Right.
That's the problem.
Stupid people ruin automobiles. Firearms are great. Stupid people ruin firearms.
Right.
There's a lot of things that are great. Crossbows. Fucking cool as hell. Stupid people ruin crossbows, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
Name anything.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of where I was going with it. But also these companies too are kind of ruining it. So I just deleted. I haven't gone to the measure of removing my account completely, but I've deleted the app from my phone, Facebook. It's off my phone. I wasn't even the first one in my house to do it. My wife did it first, which I thought was
a big step.
Yeah. But I had told her for a long time because it's unhealthy. You know, she would see things on there and it would just get her infuriated, and she'd get so angry, and then she'd dive into this research mode where she'd try to refute all these things, all for nothing because, well, I mean, it's good. She's educating herself and educating me in a lot of cases too. But she would do all this research expecting to post it and tell everybody to shut the fuck up. you know what you're talking about. By the time she had done all the research and gathered all this information, all the piss and vinegar was out of her, and she's like, fuck it.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to argue with these idiots that it doesn't matter how much information you throw at them. You're never going to convince them one way or the other. So, but anyway, it was unhealthy. It was a problem because it was causing her anxiety and stress and literally losing sleep over things. Not because like she's worried about things, but you end up getting sucked into these rabbit holes where before you know it, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're not sleeping. There are time wasters. And there's a lot of them on our phone, and we all use it. Anybody that has a smartphone, you're lying if you don't have a time waster on your phone, whether it's Angry Birds or a Candy Crush or the fucking Jewel, I don't know, whatever.
One of those. Podcast addict.
Well, see, but here's the thing: is podcasting is a great app to have on your phone, because how boring is it to sit there and look at your phone while you're listening to a podcast? A podcast is meant to something to do while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
So whether you're editing pictures, if you're a photographer, whether you're driving over the road, if you're a trucker, or commuting to work, or crunching through a spreadsheet while you're sitting in your cubicle, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. It's the word I need to launch.
But what if you're listening to a stupid podcast?
Well, but still, you're educating yourself. I think that if you listen to stupid people,
are you educating?
Unless you're stupid
people, come on.
But if you're a smart person, and you're listening to a stupid podcast. Well, you're still educating yourself. Maybe if you're a stupid person, you listen to either way. I think it's all good. Information is good.
Information is
good. If you're
good.
reading a website, it's good, even if it's complete junk, as long as you're smart enough to able to discern what's good and bad information.
So is there a point where you can make an argument or a case, or I did all this research and this is what I say, as opposed to I read this half Wikipedia page,
and
I'm right?
Well, I think we do that here. I think you and I and
all the time,
and other podcasters. I mean, whether it's Joe Rogan or whoever, we all put out these ideas that we think are factual, and we think, well, this is an ironclad thought. There's no way that anybody could poke a hole in this.
Yeah, right.
But meanwhile, out there in internet land, or maybe across the table from us, or in our kitchen, our wives or our children are saying, "You fucking moron! What do you? That's the most asinine thing I've ever heard."
As I like to say, I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Yeah. Well, we all are. Otherwise, hopefully, you wouldn't say it if you weren't pretty sure you were right. That's one of my catchphrases.
Though I have fairly recently realized that there's a lot of people out there that don't even care if they're right. They will make a point, even knowing that they're wrong, just to make the point. It's like,
well, that's why you can't.
I've always said that before. I'm not
and
saying something if I don't think I'm right about it, and that's just, I feel like that's just normal. Like, who doesn't do that? But apparently, there's a lot of people.
There are a lot of people like that.
Don't care,
and even if you are wrong, which you have been, and you are wrong on multiple occasions.
Come on.
We'll recap things. We're going to do an episode. We're going to go through. Here's another time when Jerry was wrong.
Let's not get too out of hand here. Multiple occasions.
But even if you are wrong, that's fine. You're open for another conversation about it.
Sure.
I don't know. I think.
So you don't like how everybody considers himself an expert in a bunch of different.
It's how confident the internet's made everybody that everybody feels like they should be able to just regurgitate whatever out to the internet, but look what we're doing. So I'm being completely hypocritical.
Extent,
that's what we're doing.
If you do just a little bit of research, you can be pretty confident about a point, and you can talk back to somebody who's shooting their mouth off without knowing.
Yeah, I guess it's I hear what you're saying. What's the phrase I'm looking for? That's the whenever you go out and you find information that basically confirms your preconceived opinions, right? So it's what the fuck is it called? Someone's yelling at their radio right now.
Damn it! We'll edit it in. Don't worry.
But that's what we all do. We all go out to the internet and we have this idea of whether or not whether it's a political stance or it's a religious thing or it's whatever. It's I like this phone because it's better. You go out and you got this like, why is the Google Pixel 3 better than every other phone? You don't go out there and say, why does the Google Pixel 3 suck?
Yeah.
Because you go out there trying to confirm what you've already...
Fox News and CNN, right? So the right only gets their information from Fox News, the left's only getting it from CNN, and they both think they're right. Yeah. Neither of them are right.
I heard someone...
but you only go there to get that information.
Right. I forget who the fuck it was. I think it was on a podcast. It might have been Rogan, as a matter of fact. but someone said that like they did a study on people who download and listen to podcasts and what type of entertainment and what type of content that they're signed up for, and that and feel free to prove me wrong on this, folks, that conservatives are listening to Democrat conversations in far greater numbers than liberals are listening to Fox News or conservative conversations.
Right.
And it's that, well, some of the argument is that, well, they just can't stomach it.
Right.
They can't even listen to talk about Trump because it just revolts them to such a degree that they just can't even hear the man's name.
Right.
Others is that they're arrogant. They don't want to be told they're wrong. They can't hear an argument contrary to theirs. If they don't have an argument against it, then they'll just shut down. I don't know if there's any truth to it. Again, it was just someone I heard on a podcast talking about it, saying that they had heard this number.
Right.
I'd love to go out and do the research. I should probably work on that. But I think it holds true at least in my world, in the people that I converse with. I
would say I've observed that
I'm
more
a conservative,
than the other way.
And I go to the Huffington Post, and I go to MSNBC and CNN, and I read things from all sources, and I watch television from all sources, and I know a lot of people, and like me, that do the same, that go seek out other contrarian sources. I know that there are a lot of people that on the other side of it that only will listen to MSNBC or CNN, and they can't even turn on Fox News because it's fake news, faux news, and they immediately, oh my God, it's horrible, because they just can't hear something contrary to what they believe.
Why do you think that is? I
don't know.
Why do you think the right is better than the left? No, I'm kidding.
I'm not saying that at all.
Right, I know. So you've observed it. I feel like I've observed that, where more conservatives are kind of open to at least hearing what the other side is saying, where more liberals are like, fuck you and your family for saying what you said, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that it goes back to what I've said many, many times on there. There's radicals on both sides. That we're not painting. I don't want to broad brush this and say that everybody who voted for Hillary is a hateful person. And I would hope that on the other side of things, people would say the same about everybody that voted for Trump is not automatically a racist, sexist, rapist.
Right.
But I don't know. I just think that in general, the folks on the right are a little bit more open to other opinions and welcoming of other opinions. And honestly, they're more centrist in most cases than the other side of things. There's a lot of things that people were just to have a conversation as opposed to shutting down the conversation with, well, you're a racist and you voted for Trump and I hate you because you must be a racist, sexist, rapist too, based on nothing. That if you were just to shut up and have a conversation about an issue, just pick one, pick abortion, pick gun control, pick whatever.
Here we go.
Pick one of them. And just to have a conversation about that, I bet you find common ground in most cases. If you everybody wants to talk on this broad scale and say like, well, I'm either Republican or fuck that. I'm neither. Honestly, I'm a lot of things. When it comes to fiscal policy, I'm conservative. When it comes to social policies, I'm definitely more liberal. Yeah. I mean, I think pot should be legalized. That's a conversation we need to have about legalization of marijuana in Illinois.
We will have that conversation very soon.
Wonder who our guest will be for that.
I don't know. We could think of some.
But let's have the conversation about the smaller tidbits as opposed to on the grand scale. Stop trying to put a label on everybody and saying, well, you're a white Anglo-Saxon, heterosexual male. Yeah. You must believe this. And if you don't, well, that just breaks the whole model and we got to throw everything out. Yeah. But the fact is that just because you're a white guy who's heterosexual doesn't mean shit. Or if you're a black woman who's a homosexual, that doesn't mean you know anything about that woman either. I would say that everybody's their own fucking person, and you can't. Now, sure, you can find common threads between everybody. Jared and I are both white. We agree on a lot of things. Throw a third white guy in this room, which we've done, and we don't agree on everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that means that you can't draw that broad brush across us and say, well, because of this, then that. Post hoc ergo propter hoc, if you will. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is a pretty drastic change of subject, but have you seen Stranger Things 3, season 3?
I did. Did you
whole
watch
season?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert.
So
if you
turn it
haven't,
off if you
haven't
watched it.
seen the whole season,
Let me throw this out there. It ain't that great.
yeah, skip ahead if
It's
you
all
haven't
right.
seen it. So, a friend of mine and I were discussing a character in that show.
Hopper?
Well, we discussed a lot of characters, but Robin,
Who the fuck is Robin?
the ice cream girl.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. You know, she's Ethan Hawke
Yes.
and what's her name's?
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman's
Right.
kid. I did not know that until
So
today.
the whole time I was watching her, I thought, I know her from somewhere. What have I seen her in?
Yeah, she does look
And I
familiar.
looked it up, and I've never seen her in anything. It's because she's Uma Thurman's daughter. She looks and sounds just like Uma Thurman. She's got the
Does
same
she?
mannerisms.
Is that what it is?
Kind of raspy voice.
She's
Yep.
very good.
Yeah, she's
And
great.
she needs to do more stuff.
Yeah.
Because she's very and Ethan Hawke is great. We're segueing into another thing here. Go ahead with
Okay.
Stranger Things.
So the point was, the topic that my friend and I discussed was that, so in this episode, again, spoiler alert if you don't want to hear this, it takes place in 1985, and she comes out to Steve as a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
She says, she had a crush on this other girl and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Steve was devastated because he thought that she had a crush on him, and not devastated,
he
but he
wasn't
was
devastated.
like,
At first, for about 10 seconds, he was kind of confused,
Right.
a little surprised, and then he was like, cool with it. Like, all right, whatever. He was pretty accepting, right? And so the point my friend was making was that, hey, back in 1985, people weren't nearly as accepting of homosexuality as he was.
I'm with him.
And
That's
so-
not period correct. That
Right.
response, that reaction that he gave, that's not really what would have happened in
I
1985.
guess. And that was kind of the discussion that we had. So I was sort of defending it on two fronts. So one is like, I'm fine with a little revisionist history here. Like, let's present what you should do now versus what you would have done then, right?
Mm-hmm.
To a certain degree, it's a
right.
historical sort of.
But and also,
show.
who knows?
It's
Who knows
nostalgic.
how those two
Right,
individuals
exactly.
would have reacted towards?
And I said,
that.
even though that show takes place in the Midwest, we're in the Midwest. We kind of know how it was back in the 80s, but maybe out in California in the 80s, people were way more accepting of homosexuality than they were
I tell you,
here, like
I know. I went to high school with folks that I'm pretty sure were gay.
Mhm.
Not in touch with them anymore. Well, one of them. So one was actually friends with my sister. That and she informed me that he's still not out. And
but
it's
everybody seems to think he is.
To
Okay.
to her, who she's been his best friend since they were 10.
Right.
I mean, it's obvious.
He has like Brad Pitt posters up in his room.
I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't live in this country anymore.
Okay.
But he's very successful. And he's a super funny, super nice guy. But he's it's funny to me
Still,
that
if maybe you're going towards he doesn't feel comfortable coming out.
it seems to be that he doesn't feel comfortable, or maybe he is straight.
That's hard to believe anymore that you wouldn't. I mean, I get it. People are still persecuted, and family members
in
come
the
down
80s,
on them. But
Elton John got married to a woman. So if that tells you,
right. I mean,
one of the most confident gay men in the history of gay men,
right,
was not comfortable in the 80s. He married a woman.
I'm saying now though, for this guy to not come out is like surprising that you would even have to think that you would be, but you would still inevitably be persecuted. But
I don't
you
know.
and I get persecuted for what we eat for dinner. So
that's we live with horrible
everybody
people,
gets persecuted.
But
I thought that was interesting. So I kind of agreed with him. Like, yeah, that's probably not how he would have acted. But I'm not upset with the show for not,
So I'm going to draw a
portraying it that
crazy segue here. So in two ways. Ethan Hawke and 1985. What two things have that in common? Ethan Hawke, 1985. Other than his daughter being in a movie or in a TV show that had an episode set in 1985. One of the greatest movies of my childhood came out in 1985, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's called Explorers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Sure.
Right? It's got Ethan Hawke and
That's
who's the other
85,
kid?
okay.
River Phoenix.
Yeah, right.
And it's got some kid that nobody ever heard of after that. And it's got the girl from Can't Buy Me Love that died. The girl from Can't Buy Me Love that was what the hell was her name?
Yeah, that's one of those I don't know.
You don't remember that movie?
I mean, I remember it, but I don't know who you're talking about.
Anyway, she died today.
Today?
I think.
What the fuck?
Not today. Like 3 years ago today.
Oh.
Today's the anniversary of her death.
Okay.
Sorry.
Still,
Yeah, got you all freaked
weird.
out there. Her name was Jennifer
shit.
Amanda Peterson. So Amanda, maybe it wasn't today. But anyway, so she,
okay.
I got to connect
Pretend
to
it was
your
today.
Wi-Fi. She died July 3rd, 2015. But she was a fucking hot mess. So there's a before and after. Left is Can't Buy Me Love days.
Meth's a hell of a drug.
And then meth got to her something. I mean, drugs are bad, people. That's the bottom line.
Man.
But yeah, River Phoenix and Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I forgot Ethan
and,
Hawke.
some
I
guy
don't
named
think
Jason
of him for that movie.
Presson. And then a bunch of people you never heard of. But it's a great movie, and it came out a week after Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
And also it came out the same weekend of Live Aid.
Oh.
It was like there was so many forces against this friggin' movie, and it was the theatrical debut of Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix. It was their first movies, and they're great performances.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Explorers, you should go watch it.
Definitely go watch it.
And I'm trying to think who the director was. Joe Dante. And so you've heard of Joe Dante because he also did Gremlins, and he's done a whole crap load of movies. Here, I can pull a movie. Yeah, Gremlins, The Howling, Inner Space, The Burbs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just Explorers. That's about it. So yeah. Anyway, somehow or another, this came into my purview this morning. I was like, maybe it's during my morning shit, whatever it was. I was like, and I'm like, I don't know how I got into Explorers. I think it was because of the chick from Can't Buy Me Love, whatever, Amanda Peterson. Somehow her name came up in something I saw, and I was like, what else was she in? Because all I can remember was Can't Buy Me Love. And then I saw she was in Explorers. I'm like, that's a great fucking movie. And then I start reading about Explorers. I'm like, that was the Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix first movie. Holy shit.
Right.
And they're like, why isn't that movie, why is it a cult classic and not a classic? I think that if people were to watch it, they would think it's a classic. The guy that...
I feel like part of it was... when it gets to the whole alien thing, and it's kind of
it got disjointed,
goofy. And...
Well, the guy, the director, that Joe Dante, and I think the writer, it's not what they wanted it to be.
Okay.
They were rushed. They were forced to complete it, and they said, "All right, whatever you got, just wrap it up. We got to get this something on in the theaters."
But leading up to all that, it was just like incredible.
Yeah, it was a great
adventure,
great
movie.
Yep. Yeah, great coming of age teen angst movie, and right up there. But anybody out there should check out the Explorers. And honestly, I think they should probably redo it. It will let these guys see what their vision really was with today's technology. And because this is 85. I mean, I was 10 years old. I mean, the technology was nothing. They used an Apple IIc computer, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing in the world that they used the same computer that I had in my room to make a spaceship.
Right.
I didn't know how to make the spaceship, though. I was missing a couple pieces. But anyway,
all you needed was the carnival.
Yeah, you need tilt-a-whirl. It was a tilt-a-whirl cart.
Yeah, and
it's great.
Hovering bubble.
And Amanda Peterson, she was a looker.
R.I.P.
And then it's been 4 years ago too. That's the other crazy thing. How when people die, how time flies. You're like, holy shit, that was 4 years ago. Like if we were looking at how long ago did Michael Jackson die? I don't know.
10 years ago.
That doesn't seem like it's been that long, right? Ross Perot died today. Died today. The date we're recording on, what is today? Tuesday the 10th? 9th? So yeah, Ross Perot died today. He was 89 years old. Yeah. But he had a good run, and he was a billionaire.
Like today or
died
a year ago today?
No, died today.
How come I didn't hear that?
Because,
I'm on the internet.
You don't know the people I know,
Not on Facebook, apparently.
I wasn't on Facebook either. I deleted the fucking thing. But I kept...
Ross Perot. There you go.
But I kept Instagram.
What was that?
I was looking at the time.
Oh, okay. I thought you were passing gas.
No, I kept Instagram. Same move. I kept Instagram. I kept Twitter. What else do I have on there? Instagram, Twitter. That's about it. I don't know what else I have on my phone. But yeah, I'm still not safe from the internet powers that be. They're still tracking my every move.
Yeah,
they're still listening to me.
How do you feel about that? Everybody, for the most part, seems to get pissed when they know they're being tracked and whatever.
But we all still do the same shit over and over again. We're all too addicted to know any better, to do anything different, and it's insanity. So
Is it worth it to not have Google Maps at your fingertips?
Oh, well, that's a big one. I mean, because I am directionally impaired. I couldn't find my way out of this basement without a map, you know?
Right.
And yeah, Google Maps is a game changer for me. I've given my life over to them.
But in order to have that, you got to
have
know
where I'm at.
Technology
So I don't have a problem with them knowing where I'm at. I don't have nothing to hide. I don't have any problems with that. I have a problem with them listening to conversations in my house.
Yeah. And they definitely are.
Oh, sure. I mean, I have Alexa, and I don't have the Google ones in our house, but we have Alexa.
Well, you do right here. They're listening.
Yeah. The phone's listening to me. And I know it is. And I know it's tracking my text messages. Like if we have a conversation about a product, miraculously, all of a sudden
for sure.
I'll have an ad for that product. We talk about, I don't know, whatever it is, Honda Civics, all of a sudden, boom, I got an ad for Honda Civics. It's like, what the fuck? How'd this happen? Yeah, it's to get rid of it all is damn near impossible.
Now, do you think if I'm going to be bombarded with ads, I'd rather it be ads of things I'm interested in that I might actually buy. I want to know if it's on sale. I want to know where I can get it, as opposed to like, get that new Buick you've been wanting. I don't want a Buick, Show me the Honda Civic. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, stop fucking listening.
Yeah, I just think that they should be more open and honest about it. I don't think people have a problem with being targeted with advertisements. I think that most people are like you're saying that like, fine, target me with things that are relevant, things that I actually want to buy, or I'm actually interested in. It doesn't have to be a purchase. It could be just a television show. We've seen that you like these shows. There's a new one coming out that's formulaic the same way, and so you might like this one too. So that's great. I think most people are fine with that. It's that they're lying about it.
Right.
It's that they're saying, "Oh no, we're not." Bullshit.
Right.
We know you are, and it's fine. Just like we know, and not to go back to the political realm, but we know that you're filtering conversations of politically right individuals off of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and we know that these things are happening. Everybody does, and yet they go in front of Congress and they say, "Oh no, we don't do that." It's complete bullshit, and it's just laughable. It's not even worth getting angry about, because I think anybody with any sense knows that it's complete bullshit. And they're
I don't know. I think there's people that think that's not happening. They're got their head in the sand.
Well, exactly. That has to be that's the only explanation for it. And they're complacent in it. And that's fine. The thing is that you need to be smart enough to understand the source of your information. And that if you're relying completely on Twitter for your information, that information is slanted.
So on a not political note,
I always tend to go
still
that way.
Technology. We'll have that political conversation sometime. How do you feel about? And I think I know. There's only one answer to this, but all the experts that have a blog or whatever about
like a podcast,
and sometimes it's just blatantly obvious that they don't know what they're talking about. They'll be like, "Oh, the top 10, microphones for podcasting," and then you read through it, and it's like, this person clearly does not know what they're talking about. They just listed the 10 shittiest products you can buy, but they happen to be on sale, or they're getting a cut or something,
Right.
But so I guess where I'm going with that is, I feel like not all that long ago, you could kind of trust the internet as far as you would read a review on something like not just a consumer review, but an expert, right?
Right.
And they did the research and they had all these opinions, and you could trust that they know what they're talking about. You wouldn't always agree, but at least they were informed and they gave you the real details that mattered. Now it's like, there's so many.
It's the Wild West.
It really is. There's so many blogs and vlogs and reviews out there that are just meaningless, and they've done no homework.
And
all they've done is type out a thing.
And that's what Twitter would say. Like, well, if they were to allow just the Wild West on Twitter, and just like let anybody go, which is what is going on with microphone reviews and every other website out there. Anybody can build a website, and doesn't have to be censored. If there's First Amendment, everybody can make a website that can be complete and utter bullshit. You could flip the stats on every microphone or whatever you happen to be ranking.
Yeah,
or you could publish that shit. It's up to the consumer
Right.
to be able to dig through the bullshit and figure
and that's
out
the
what's
unfortunate thing
right.
is that a lot of consumers don't know what's bullshit, and they
So-
just read it and go, well, I guess I'll buy the top ranked
so, and that's
one.
why Twitter says that's why they do what they do, is because they feel like
Yeah.
that they're trying to protect the consumer of that information
Watchdog.
from
Big brother.
fake information, from fake news, or from
Yeah.
controversial or upsetting, triggering information, which is noble and fine. But who determines what is
Right.
triggering
Right.
and who is and what is controversial?
I think
That's the problem with this. Like, I would rather that the internet be the Wild West and let
Yeah.
somebody put out there and say, well, this microphone that Ryan bought for $35
including the stand.
is 10 times better than the
Yeah.
microphone that Jared bought.
Right.
By the way, Jared has a new microphone.
I did
If you
get a new
couldn't
mic.
tell by the luster of his voice.
Right. It's buttery smooth.
Yeah, he's got a new fancy microphone. It's really cool looking. I got a bit of envy, but he's tested a little bit, and you're not overly thrilled with it. So
I'm going to have a separate review. Give my expert opinion.
So I think that the consumer should be able to watch that review, make a determination of, do I trust this person? Do they
Right.
know what they're talking about? Have they given enough statistics that back up their opinion that one is better
Yeah.
than that one?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I want a regulatory body or anything to determine who should have their, editorial or not, because that's a whole other dangerous path to go down.
Right.
But it's just unfortunate that you've got people who don't seem to care whether or not they have an informed opinion or not. They're going to just give you whatever opinion they have.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's not even an opinion. It's just, here's some information that I haven't really even done homework to see if it's right. But there you go. And it's like too many people are just willing to spew that out. And now you have a hard time telling the difference.
To the beginning of this is that everybody on the internet is an expert, not just the consumers, but the creators
Right.
of information. Everybody, you have to analyze. You have to dig deeper. You can't just say, well, that guy has a podcast. He must know what the fuck he's talking
Right.
about. I'm a fucking idiot. He is too. We just have microphones and like to hear ourselves talk.
Right.
I mean, we're nothing special. I mean, we like to think we're knowledgeable about certain things, but trust but verify. If we say
Right.
something, don't just say like, well, Ryan and Jared said it's true, so fuck, it must be fucking true. Go out, ask that question to somebody else. Ask the internet that question. Read more than one website.
Yeah.
It's simple stuff. It's not, if you were to go with the first Google result on everything, I mean, how fucked up would this world be? I don't know how often the first Google result is the right answer, but I would say better today than it was 10 years ago, but still probably not very reliable.
But even with all the bullshit, I still think the internet is such a great thing. How can you ever complain?
Oh, I think there's plenty of room for complaint. It's not perfect. It's like the highway system in 1920. I mean, the interstate highway system was still in the beginning. It was, it was useful. People were like, "Oh, this is great. I can get from St. Louis to Chicago in 7 hours or 8 hours or whatever it was, and it was fine." But now, how fast can we get? We can get there in 4 hours. It's the same thing. There's an evolution that still needs to occur, and I don't know that it's government intervention. I hope it's not.
No.
I hope that it's just another innovation. Maybe this is the $1 million idea, the idea that I'm giving to someone out there, that come up with another website or another web tool or app that is a crowdsourced information gatherer that says what is reliable and what is not reliable, and trying the best to stay apolitical.
Ranking of articles or whatever. Reddit is kind of that way.
A little bit.
They try to bump up comments and things that are more
and they
popular.
try to keep people out, and they make
but
good
now
rules.
You're trusting the masses to rank something.
Well, no matter what, that's what you have to. You have to do, though, because if you don't trust the masses, then that means you're trusting just a small faction, and who's to say that they're trustworthy?
Right. Sure.
And they may be trustworthy from the beginning, but 6 months from now,
the masses are generally fucking idiots. So
but
no offense.
Yeah, you get a bigger sample, the better information, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but still, everything should be, and they're starting to get there. There are some websites out there that are news aggregators that allow the reader, the consumer, to vote on whether or not they think it's left or right or true or untrue and things like that.
Yeah.
And that's great. I think that's great. And it gives people a bit of a lens to see things through, so that they have a more informed
I still think the problem is more people, the trolling and the just flat out lying to get their point across or whatever.
If there's
right?
one thing that the past 3 years of Trump and the whole Russia thing has brought us to, is that I think almost universally Americans can agree that Russians have been fucking with us for some time. Before Trump was even running, there was these companies in Russia that were trying to bend the minds of Americans through chat, through creating conversations on Reddit and Facebook and Twitter, and it's pretty well established, documented, proven that those things were happening. So number one objective should be to stop that shit. But and let's have a real conversation.
We're doing it too. Let's not be naive.
Well, yeah. So the Americans are doing shit to the Russians and, and the Koreans and whatever.
Yeah.
We should all stop doing that shit. Well, also that we should all be smart enough to discern what is real and what's not, and not just listen to someone with a username that's like Stolichnaya4732.
Right.
It's like, don't trust that guy. Maybe you should listen to Bob's your uncle. I don't know. I don't know what it might be, but
I mean, that's at the same time, shouldn't there be a point where you do trust software that was written in the Ukraine or an article that was published?
No, I think that everybody just needs to be
Moscow,
smarter. Everybody needs to be smarter, and that'll never happen.
Yeah.
So there's going to be stupid people no matter what we do. There's always going to be dumb people, and they're going to make bad decisions, and they're going to, there's no way around it. But as long as the vast majority of people continue to question things and dig deeper, then we'll be all right. But I don't know. It starts to look ugly though. When you get on the internet and you look at Twitter, it's like, oh my God, we're all fucked. This is idiocracy. This is insanity. Right. We're all going to hell. But those are the people that are on there espousing their bullshit opinions. They're not the people you want to trust.
Yeah.
You want to trust the people who don't just blurt out whatever the fuck they want in however many characters on Twitter. You want to trust someone that's willing to have a conversation and have a counterpoint and be able to back up their conversation. You back up their opinions with additional facts and conversation. Never trust anybody that can form their entire opinion in 180. How many characters is it on Twitter? 180 characters?
Yeah, it changed.
200 and something? How many fucking characters it is? Whatever it is.
Never trust anybody on Twitter, huh?
Yeah. Yes. That's a good rule.
Get a load of this.
Yeah.
On
don't trust RS.
No, load this podcast. I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah, it's been that so long. No, I mean seriously, don't trust anybody. Right. If you find something on Twitter that you think, like, well, that's interesting. That's a nifty little thought. Don't just take that and run with it. Dig deeper. See who wrote that. Why do they feel that way? What are they backing it up?
It's that instant gratification that everybody wants now. You want to get your news right away and react and go on to the next thing. Nobody wants to dig.
It's not that simple.
Nobody wants to do research.
If anything is proven that, it's history. If you look at what, the 50th anniversary of the lunar landing is coming up in like 6 days.
I've noticed from the onslaught of Budweiser advertising I keep seeing.
Well, it's Budweiser advertising, but if you go to like National Geographic, Nat Geo, the channel, or if you go to Smithsonian Channel, there's all these documentaries, and they're new-ish documentaries about the lunar landing, and it's really neat stuff. I dig it. I think I've watched far more than I should. A lot of it's the same shit. How many different ways? You know how it ends, right? Yeah, we get there, allegedly. Some people would disagree that we got there, but
maybe.
Yeah. Are you one of them?
No.
Okay, God, thank God.
But
that's a good conversation.
That's a whole other episode that I think would be fun to have.
I think it's interesting as hell. But that's my point, though, is that back then you had one source of information. It was Walter Cronkite. And he said, well, we did it. We're on the moon. There's a man up there, and he just said this. And here's a video to prove it. And we all just said, okay, that must be true. And through time, we've seen other information that's come out, and that's why there's deniers now. That's why there's people who don't believe that we landed there. There's people who believe the world is flat because there's more information out there. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. They're wrong, but there's more information than there was in 1969.
So I would say, I think it's interesting that if you just take that, step back and look at the circumstances, you've got an achievement that was very, very hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
and that
astonishingly hard. Yeah, very difficult.
We had incentive to say we did.
Sure.
And we've kind of stopped even trying to do it since then.
Yeah.
So why would we, if there was this thing that was really important and we did it and we achieved it, why do we stop doing it? And
yeah, that's a
especially
hard
when we
conversation.
had a reason to lie about it. Like we were trying to beat the Soviets, right?
But there was no other reason other than that.
Right.
Like other than to show that we were more technologically advanced than they were. Nanny boo boo. That was what we were doing. And they had beaten us twice already by putting a dog into orbit and then a human into orbit. Right. So they'd beat us twice. And so we're like, well, that's not happening again. Goddamn, we're putting a man on the moon. So I believe that we did. I believe that it was extremely difficult to do. I think it happened. I understand why people would doubt it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can see why you would doubt it, but I do think it happened.
Yeah, but I also think that that's kind of proves my point. Is that we would never have doubted it if other information hadn't become available later on. If we had the same information that we had on July 16th, 1969, today, everybody would just think, oh, yeah, well, that just happened because that's all we had. But as time has gone on, same with the JFK assassination, same with the RFK, same with MLK, same with every controversial, the Vietnam War. You know, we everybody had opinions about what we should do in the Vietnam War in 1969, and in hindsight, with other information, we've realized like probably could have exited a little bit better. There was a lot of bad things that happened because of our expedited exodus. But there's people that disagree on that. That no, we should have gotten out in we should have never gone in. Well, hindsight's 2020. Obviously, there's a lot of things we could have done, but all that information is good and gets. I think it drives the point home that read more.
Read more Wikipedia, folks.
No, not Wikipedia. Jesus Christ.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's all right, but even then, people should read more Wikipedia and should dig into like when the last edited and go look at like when a page was edited, and it's astonishing, especially with the political cycle ramping up. Like go to like Joe Biden's Wikipedia page and see how many times it's been edited in the last 48 hours. Yeah. It's astonishing, and I'm sure it's the same for all of them. For Trump, for Kamala Harris, for Cory Booker, for any of them.
Right.
They're constantly curating their image. And because people are constantly on there trying to put bad information in there, like, well, Kamala Harris is actually a man. It's like, well, no. So her campaign's got to go on there and correct all this shit. It's a constant onslaught, and it's amazing stuff. But I think so many people out there that think that Wikipedia, they don't realize that it's a public driven information repository.
Probably 15, 20 years ago, when Wikipedia was first kind of becoming a known thing, but almost everybody was like, well, you can't trust it because anybody can get on there and write whatever they want. Right. It's just a reference. You got to do your research and whatever. Well, that caveat has not been uttered for a long time. People use it as fact.
I think in academia it does. I think whenever I was getting my master's, they told like don't cite Wikipedia. Right. You could cite
on a day-to-day basis. People do all the time.
Oh, sure.
Not in a report.
But you can't write an academic paper.
But what's worse? Like using it on your daily life or
NBC using it in a news story. Yeah.
Right.
And that happens all the time, too.
I think, just my point was just that I don't think most people don't think of Wikipedia as a source that might not be true. They just are like, well, it's on Wikipedia. I just read it today. Of course it's true. But anyway, so technology is screwing us over. And,
I think it's great. I think just people are the problem.
Yeah,
and people need to be smarter and read more and dig deeper and not trust the asshole next to you.
Not to be trusted, folks.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let us know. What do you think? How do you feel about the internet in general and how it's being used? Whether it's social media.
Did I say my Wozniak thing yet? I don't think I did. I talked about that. Steve Wozniak was quoted, or he was on TMZ or something like that. That he was caught by TMZ, which wouldn't think
reputable
is a good thing.
News site.
Right. Well, Actually, they're not that bad because they're getting it right from. I mean, they got video. They're like, "This is what that motherfucker said."
They
Listen
generally tend to break a lot of stories that turn out to be true,
and they don't twist it. They're like, "Here, this is what he said." Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
So Steve Wozniak, who's Apple founder, Steve Jobs, the guy that really did all the work. Steve Jobs was just
whoa.
Yeah. I know we're pissing off a lot of Apple people out there, but Woz was the brain trust. He was the guy that made it all happen.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty solid. I don't know. Anyway, but he was caught by TMZ, and they asked him about privacy and Facebook and just privacy on the internet. And he said anybody that has a Facebook account should delete it, unless there are people that absolutely need it for their job or whatever. Fine, those exceptions can be made. But by and large, most people, 99% of he didn't say these. This is me adding my own conjecture. 99% of people don't fucking need it and should just delete it. And I agree with them. I agree that it's not serving you any good. It did 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. There was good. You got to connect with old friends that you hadn't seen in a while, and it was wonderful. It was awesome. All this nostalgia, like pictures of high school, and it was great. It's wonderful. But now it's just overrun with fucking asshats. I mean,
polls about toilet paper rolls and
right, those people. Yeah. Have you seen that? Well, you're not on Facebook, but
no, I haven't seen it.
There's one on there that not one. There's more than one, and I don't trust it one bit. But it says like, "This question is for a school research paper. Please answer." And you have to like click on it, and I'm like, "Oh shit, where'd this start from?" I'm sure it started from some research company or something like that, or someone that's just tracking data.
Right.
I don't know.
You're so skeptical. Man.
I am. On the other hand, I get Google. So I have an Android phone, and I get Google rewards surveys all the time.
Oh my god!
But they pay me. So
what are you getting paid in?
Dollars that I can use on the Google Play,
so like download an app.
Right, but it's dollars, so but you can download an app, you can whatever. I got audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks and stuff like that. I can use it for podcast if some assholes charge for podcasts.
We can charge for this?
Right. We've been missing out all this time.
Damn it.
Yeah, but anyway, I do it. And I answer the survey questions, and I answer them honestly. And I can tell by their questions. They know where I've been. Hey, were you at a Hyatt last night? He's like, yeah, I was. He's like, well, does your wife know? Well, no. So anyway, and when you're done answering those questions, it's like, all right, here's 32 cents. You're like, awesome. I got 32 cents. It's great. There's a reward. It takes me 12 seconds to answer their questions, and they give me 30 cents. Everybody wins.
This is what's wrong with the internet. People like you keep it going. Of course, you're going to keep getting bullshit ads.
What I'm saying is that I'm not going to give Google my information for free. I'm not going to give Facebook my information for free. Okay. If they want that information,
yes, he is.
Pay me. Well, I am. I still am. And the only way to get around it is to remove everything. It's just to uninstall everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the way to go. Uninstall everything except your favorite podcast app.
Right.
And keep subscribing to get a load of this.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. So, well,
Let's
here we
wrap it up.
We are, I don't know how far we in. We had a bunch of junk at the beginning.
We did have some junk, but we're almost an hour in.
We're going to try, we got a little lengthy in previous.
Long-winded.
Yeah, a little bit. I have a tendency. It's my fault. I take full responsibility. We're going to try to keep them, about 50-ish minutes?
Under an hour.
Try to keep them to the length of your commute. Doesn't matter who you are. Your commute. And yours.
We're pointing at you.
Yeah. And you too. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, you too. Everybody. So, I don't know, maybe about 50 minutes or something like that. But that's a lie because we're probably going to go longer.
Yeah.
Especially if we get somebody else in here.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Right.
We're still going to do some half-loaded stuff.
I think so. Yeah, we'll do. We're going to definitely do a weekly full episode, and then probably not like another full hour on the second day of the week. We'll just do like a half, whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes we might miss a week. Sometimes we might run long and do 2 full episodes. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But
so what also is interesting out there is that when we look at the numbers for this little hiatus that we've been on, it's astonishing to me that we still have downloads weekly, regularly, and decent numbers.
Yeah,
it's like,
I know.
And we haven't published an episode in I don't know how long, a month.
Been a while.
At least over a month. So That's astonishing, and if that's you and you're listening, we appreciate it, and
Definitely.
we hope we got you hooked, and we hope you had 80 episodes to keep you satiated while we worked on some new content, and hopefully you're with us now for the long term. Make sure you subscribe.
Yep.
And that's it. Shit.
Yeah, I don't even remember the name of the social media anymore.
Oh well,
Load This Podcast.
Load This Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. There will be stuff on Facebook, even though I've deleted.
Yeah.
So as long as we publish things to Instagram, I think it automatically pushes it over to Facebook. I think so. And then YouTube.
And of course,
if you're
YouTube.
watching, if you're seeing us right now, you've already know how to find us. But get a load of this podcast, right?
That
on
sounds
YouTube.
right.
I think so. If you'd like to send us an email, loadthispodcast@gmail.com. Especially those of you that want to be a guest and sit in the studio or on Skype with us and discuss whatever topic is your liking, whatever you'd like, and if you'd like us to review a beer, happy to do that. Telling us to drink something. I mean,
I gotta say, Porch Rocker.
Porch Rocker's pretty good. No. Well, you got to try. Well, I'm running out, but the Sam 76, Sam Adams. Okay. Sam Adams had a variety pack at Costco.
Let's show these. Hold them up.
So these are the 3 that I got. I got it was, I think it was like, I don't know, 10 of each. That'd be 30. Had to be more than that. Whatever it was. There probably was more of these than anything. But this is Sam 76. This is just I guess it's just an ale. I don't know what the fuck that is. I think that's their standard shit. Yeah. I don't know. And then this is Porch Rocker, which is a refreshing and tangy rattler. And some beer experts out there would tell us what the hell that means. A rattler, I believe,
what is
means
a rattler?
It's a beer mixed with like lemonade or something like that. It says a limited release. I think it's delicious. It's a bit tangy, a bit citrusy.
Okay. It's not bad.
And then this one here, which we would expect this one to be the rattler, but it's not.
Yeah.
This is the Sam Adams Summer Ale, Citrus Wheat Ale.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I'm out of these. Otherwise, I'd be happy to share one with you.
So while we're pimping products here, the other day we had some family over and we were barbecuing, and they brought over a barbecue sauce from Traeger. So the brand of the pellet grills. A lot of you've heard about we've done a pellet grill discussion on this podcast.
I did. Someone else did that.
We had a guest host. Anyway, so it was a Traeger brand barbecue sauce, and then it was inspired by Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. So it didn't actually have the Summer Shandy beer in it. It just said inspired by Leinenkugel Summer Shandy. Okay. It was very, very good. It was kind of tangy. It had a little bit of like chili powder flavor to the barbecue sauce. Very good. And I don't always like to try a new barbecue sauce. They're either way too smoky or way too sweet or whatever. And it's like, you're trying too hard. But this was just really good. It just tasted awesome. And everybody kind of agreed, like, so this is surprisingly
you grilled
good.
Here?
We did, yeah.
And then you used this sauce that they brought?
Yep.
What'd you grill?
Chicken wings.
Okay.
Yep.
And used this sauce on the chicken. You grilled them or you smoked them?
Grilled them.
Okay.
So they were about a half hour on the grill.
All right.
So they came out not as tender as if you'd slow cooked them, smoked them.
Right.
But they were tasty.
Still haven't bought a new grill. I'm still rolling with my old dirty bastard.
I can't wait for you to do that. It's gonna be fun.
I'm getting there. The wife wanted to tomorrow. Thursday is large item pickup day for trash. She's like, you should put your grill out there. I'm like, oh, no.
There you go. Incentive.
But then I don't have a grill.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Get out there, buy one.
No, it works. It still gets the job done. It's I can't commit to getting rid of big hoss. It's a big grill. Yeah. And I'm going going down to a Weber kettle is a big proposition.
It's a big commitment.
You know. But I think that's what I need to do.
I think so. I love mine.
Yeah,
and thanks to our Champagne listener who recommended it to me. I really love my grill.
Yeah, so come up with a topic, Champagne.
Yeah, that's right.
What the fuck is his name?
I'm not going to say it on the air.
I never met him.
What the fuck
I think
is
I know.
his
It
name?
starts with an R, doesn't it?
Who knows?
It's fucking mystery guy. Yeah. All right, whatever. Fucking Champagne.
All right.
Yeah, well... Yeah, you need to go over the topic. You need to get your ass down here, or we'll Skype your ass in.
Anybody needs to send us some topics to discuss. As controversial as you want, or as stupid as you want, whatever.
Talk about The Bachelor. Never watched an episode, but maybe we have to do some research.
I will tease. I think maybe not our next episode, because we might record another one tonight and post it later this week or the weekend.
Yeah.
But the next time we get together to record, I think we're going to have some controversy.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting topic.
Can we tease who it's going to be?
I thought about it, but I didn't want to give away too much to where they might go, I don't want to hear that.
Is this,
We want them to
is
hear
he
it.
related to you?
No.
Okay. Coworker.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I think he'll be good.
it's going to be It's going to be a good episode.
Yeah.
A controversial issue that people are
Did
going
he
to
come up
definitely
with the
take sides
issue?
on.
Or is it, have you guys collaborated on this a little bit?
Well, we've discussed it at work, and it gets heated.
I'm wondering if you, because I don't know if you've told me.
I wanted to discuss.
I don't think you've told me yet.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have. We need to think about, like, do I want to know? Maybe you want me to come into this blind.
No, you need to know.
Okay, I need to do some research. Shit.
It'll be good.
Now I'm
So
scared.
tune in for an upcoming episode. Our first guest of season 3. It's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. You're going to like it.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Be great
So-
if we could get like a celebrity or something like that to be a guest. You know, like we get Rogan.
You know,
We get, like, Bill Murray.
Okay.
Bill Murray probably come.
Let's get him on.
Yeah, just
Reach
got to
out.
find his phone number.
Yeah. Apparently, that's all you need. All right.
Yeah.
We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. Season 3 is upon us, and I think we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, and if by the time you listen to this, you'll know who won the All-Star game. But
That's right.
go National League.
Yeah.
They seem to never win, but
Unfortunately, not a lot of Cardinals in the lineup this year.
no, there's not.
It's been a rough season.
That's all right though. But
If you're interested in Cardinals, you should check out the B-Fibs Almanac. That's my other podcast.
yeah, where he doesn't say anything about the Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues.
It's not about that. I gave them their credit.
All right.
1.5 episode.
Yeah. No, you should check out B-Fibs and yeah, let us know. We already gave you the addresses. That's it. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Until next time, I'm Jared.
I'm Ryan.
And get a load of this.
It's all good, man. I think I talk too fucking much again.
Well, you know, it's just who you are. You be you,
I'm
Ryan.
sorry.
It's fine. What am I going to say? I'm coughing half the time anyway.
Action.
All right.
So it's easy for you to sync up the shit and
I don't know about easy, but I'm pretty good at what I do. So
you get better at it. It's getting easier.
check 1 2. Check 1 2. Checking levels. We haven't
This has
done
been a
this in
while.
while.
I can't hear a goddamn thing.
Oh yeah.
Yours and like the one I just put in my cooler because I want to take it home with me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take the top off to put the beer in it, but it kept a snug fit around a bottle, an aluminum bottle,
Nice.
a skinny Coors Light can, a skinny, what do they call it, like the White Claw, the girly drinks that they're all drinking now. The youngsters are drinking. Youngsters. You know, like young girls, they drink these White Claws, like malt liquor, basically. It's like Zima. You're going to love it.
Like Smirnoff sounds good.
No, it's in a can. But I forget there's another one. Truly, I think is another one. That's like a hard something or other.
Okay.
Anyway, but I actually had Coors Light that day, and I was like, how does that hold this? And so we tried it with all these different cans, and it was like, that's awesome. And then Becky went up, and she's like, oh, I got one. Here, let me go. And she went and got this other one that Rich got for Christmas, and he hadn't even used it yet. And it was cool, man. It was like a Japanese, what do they call it? No, a Russian nesting doll. Is that what they call it? Russian nesting doll? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that. I mean, like had 1,800 pieces you could unscrew, and it started out like this fucking tall. You could fit a whole bottle in it and close it up and keep it all nice and it was cool. But when you put like a skinny aluminum bottle in it, rattled around, didn't hold it tight.
Okay.
It wouldn't hold. There was a couple things it couldn't do that the other one did. What it did have though is that on the bottom of it, it had a bottle opener, which was cool.
Nice. Yep.
That's the only thing it had on the other one and the end of it. But it was awesome. And I'm thinking you did a whole thing
Right.
on koozies.
It wasn't a whole thing.
I think the game has changed.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think and I'm gonna. And I think it was like $12.50 a piece is what they.
Yeti lost their grip on.
Well, I think just people decided or
Cooling
realized that there's a huge market out there if you can just, and it's so easy to innovate with something like that, something so simple. It's a can cooler, but all it takes is one little thing, one little catalyst, a little spark. Make people be like, oh, wait a minute, we can do this, we can do that, we can. Fuck, the game changed. We can do whatever the hell we want to.
I'm in the market for it. We should we'll put this on the episode. A coffee mug, but not coffee because I don't drink.
You don't drink coffee?
No.
What are you putting in this?
Hot chocolate because I'm a little kid.
Because I'm a child.
I'm a little kid.
You like hot chocolate though?
I do.
In the summertime?
Yeah, to me it's the same thing. Like kind of wakes me up, even though it's not the caffeine. It's just a hot beverage, and the sweet beverage is kind of, it's the same purpose as a coffee. It just gets me going in the morning.
I'm with you.
But I hate coffee.
Yeah.
So you're not a coffee guy, are you?
No, I'm not. But they got these real fancy coffee machines at work, and everybody there, because there's a bunch of people, everybody's a coffee snob, which kind of goes into our episode that we're about to do, that everybody's an expert on whatever nowadays, but everybody's a coffee snob. Everybody's like, coffee's for sure. Junk. It's because they've had Starbucks once, or they've had whatever. They all think that they're Brazilian coffee farmers. And but I go in there and I'm like, every once in a while I'll be like, you know what, I'm feeling a little down, I don't really want a Coke, or I don't have the money, so I'm gonna make myself a thing of coffee. It's like a Keurig, but it's not the pods. It's like these little pouches that you put in there. And it just does it all magically, automatically, and it tells you, it's like, what do you want? You say, I want a mocha latte. And you hit 2 buttons, and it says, okay, go get this pouch and put that fucker in me. And you do that, and it's like, okay, now I'm done with that. Go get the frothy milk pouch and put that fucker in me.
Right.
And you do that, and all of a sudden, by the time you're done, you got this nice, fancy, really, I think it's a decent cup of coffee. But it's a milkshake in reality. It's not a whole lot of coffee to it. But it's good, and it does give you a little pep. I can't drink a cup of black coffee anymore. I used to whenever I was in college, my undergraduate, a long time ago, whenever I was...
Because it's too much pep?
I just don't ever like the taste of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know, and whenever I did drink it, whenever I was in college, it was a necessity. It wasn't... I didn't like it. I just needed it to get me through the rest of the second half of class that night. But I don't like coffee.
No, I don't either. My wife loves it now. She used to hate it too.
Maybe there's someone out there that can tell us, like, well, if you were to try this, you would love coffee.
Fuck those people.
Well, but maybe it is all shit coffee, and that's why we don't like it, because we've had bad, bitter coffee. There's really good shit out there somewhere that we just haven't tried. I don't know. I love the smell of coffee.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
No, I think always. For me, at least. I mean, when there's the aisle, which I don't think every grocery store has it anymore. Maybe they do. But where they have the grinder, where you buy the bag of beans and dump it in there, it's my favorite aisle. Only because of the smell.
Yeah.
And it's even better today than it was 20 years ago, because now they got all these different flavors of hazelnut and all this shit, and it's so much better smell. But even way back, whenever it was just like you had Folgers or you had, Taster's Choice or whatever the fuck it was, that they were just coffee. It smelled amazing.
So I bought that Primos Cafecito coffee that Jose Martinez of the Cardinals kind of pimps. You haven't heard that? I haven't heard about that. Okay. So he's got, I don't know if it's him partnering with another company or if it's his company, but anyway, it's his coffee basically. And it's supposed to be really good. And you used to only be able to order it from them online. Now they sell it at Schnucks. And it's pricey. It's like twice as expensive as Folgers or whatever.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I got it for my wife. And she's like, it's okay. It's not bad, but it's not
great.
Worth twice as much. So won't be getting that again. Right. But maybe she just doesn't know.
Different variety.
Man,
you can have one of these too if you want.
All right. All right, let's do this.
Oh, I remember the other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
No more fuck the Cubs.
Oh, what the
one of your favorite things.
Suck. No.
No, I agree.
Right.
I just
want to be more professional.
No. I just think that we can do better.
Fuck tradition, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm
open to new things.